Furina is one of the strongest buffer and most versatile characters in Genshin Impact. But one thing about Furina is that choosing a right healer for her is as important as her being in a team. Unless you are using her as a healer. How that might be. But we are not going to talk about that today. What we are going to talk about the factors we need to keep in mind when choosing a healer for Furina teams. First, we are going to look for the healers who can offer consistent party-wide healing. Second, who has good team synergies, meaning elemental reactions. Third, who has advantages that can boost overall damage output of the team. And finally, the fourth, who has great team versatility, means how many team options that healer has with Furina. We will start from the bottom to the top, but before that, if you are liking my videos, if they help you and you just want to support me, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps with the algo. So all your support is appreciated. And now, without further ado, let's get started. So the first 4-star character I want to talk about is Kuki Shinobu. Despite her being not able to provide a party-wide healing, she is one of the best off-field electro healers who works really good on niche teams like Hyperbloom or Quick Gloom teams with Furina. She can widely increase her heals by HP stat increases and Hyperbloom damage by her off-field electro application with increase of elemental mastery. She is really easy to build and having a C0 Kuki is enough for your Furina and the whole team. But because she is a niche healer and doesn't heal party-wide, we are keeping her in the bottom. I'll be putting different team references for each healer with Furina at the last. If you want, you can take a picture of them for later use. Also, I'll put a tier list of all the healers I'm going to mention in this list at the end of this video, so do check that out. Second healer I want to talk about is 5-star Hydro Applier Kokomi. Kokomi is a very strong healer and can actually work in various teams with Furina. Teams like Bloom, Hyper Bloom, Freeze, Taser, or Electro Charge, or Kokomi herself being a DPS in Mono Hydro teams. Although she has an issue when it comes to party-wide healing because she needs to stay on field doing her normal attacks with her burst or sometimes overheals, which can cause some rotation issues with some Furina teams. But if you can manage that, Kokomi can be a great healer for Furina. That's why she comes in the second last best healer in this list. Next up, Shenyun, a 5-star animo character who has enabled a very unique playstyle for a lot of characters. Shenyun offers party-wide healing, keeps up with Furina. She increases the plunge attack damage greatly with her elemental skill for various characters with additional animo damage. Her burst allows party-wide healing, and not to mention she can also use the advantage of the VV set. But every great character comes with some cons. Although Shenyun buffs the plunge attacks for various characters, it still depends on the characters you are plunging with, and not all characters has the same synergy or damage outputs while plunging. Where teams like this, Shenyun is just an animo healer with VV set, so using another healer with Kazuha would be better for those teams. She also can't group enemies in a AoE situation, so it's almost like she's a second Jean and works better in certain niche teams but with way more energy cost. That's why she's in the third bottom place in our list. For our next part, I have two best healers in the game and I can't really decide who's better cause they're both really good in their own ways. So first, let's talk about Jean, as we were already talking about another animo 5-star healer. Jean might be the only character who can stack fanfare points for Furina by fastest party-wide healing. She also uses the VV set, her healing scales of attack, and has low ER requirements, so building her as a sub DPS is easier than a lot of healers and can be used in any teams with Furina where you need an animo support who uses the VV set. But just like Shenyun, Jean can be also replaced by a great support like Kazuha if you have other great healers from other elements. But in general, Jean is a great healer for Furina teams as she stacks her fanfare points the fastest by her party-wide healing. Then another great healer we have in the same position is Baiju. Baiju also provides a party-wide healing by using his skill. His refreshing shield could provide interruption resistance to a certain extent. He also buffs the Dando reactions, which is a great thing about him, before a certain character release, Baiju, Furina with Nuvilit teams were dominating the best teams list for Abyss for a long time. The only issue Baiju has with Furina teams would be his huge ER requirement, but building him with enough HP and ER will go a long way as a healer for Furina teams. And if you're using him with Furina and Nuvilit teams, keep in mind that his shield is good for resistance but not enough for hard-hitting enemies. Before we talk about best 2 healers for Furina, I want to talk about some honorable mentions that can also work as healers in Furina teams. Diona, Yao Yao and Charlotte. After all, these are 4 stars, but the issue with these characters are you will be needing their C6 to get the best output for Furina teams. I will not go into too much details, but if you have their C6, these characters can work just fine as healers with Furina in various elemental teams. So you can also use them until you get better versions of them, or you can say the 5-star versions of them. So the second best healer for a lot of Furina teams would be Bennett. Yeah, not a shocker, huh? As many of you might know, Bennett is another great buffer in the game and has the ability to heal your on-field characters the quickest possible time in the game. He is the best buffer for your attack scaling DPSs, which can also get buffs by Furina. We still don't have any other characters like Bennett who can buff characters to such extents that even if he doesn't heal 100% HP of your on-field characters and can mess up with your rotation a little if you're using him with your Furina, he still compensates with his buffing abilities of your other teammates. But Bennett is such an accessible character and almost everyone gets him really early in the game by wishing on standard or character banners and can also be obtained from Paimon's bargain shop. And him being just a 4-star character is insane. But having his C1 is recommended for a better buffing experience. Other than that, he's very easy to build. Just having HP and ER on him will help you gain best output of him. And the number of characters and teams he can work with is just insane. That's why he is our second best healer in this list for many Furina teams. So the best healer for a lot of Furina's best teams or value teams in terms of this healer's outputs would be the newest 5-star buffer and the Geo character is Shilonen. Shilonen's synergy with a lot of OP Furina teams are just amazing. Shilonen has the capabilities of hugely buffing different elements with her elemental skill, at the same time healing with her elemental burst, which can help various Furina team comps. She's very easy to use and doesn't require a complicated rotation. Her healing for your on-field characters are really good and they scales off her defense percentage, so building Shilonen is very easy. Just having enough ER and defense on her will give your whole team the resistance shred buffs and healing for your Furina. Other than Shilonen needs 2 different characters from other elements and not from the Geo to proc her buff and healing capabilities, there's no other major cons she has. That too, having different elemental characters in the party and getting benefits from them are also viable for almost all the teams she's in. A C6 Shilonen is capable of party-wide healing, but with the right rotation, a C0 Shilonen is as good as a C6 Shilonen. With keeping all this in mind, Shilonen becomes the top best healer for Furina in this list. Now this healers list is based on team-wide performance and not just stacking Furina's fanfare points, because it is important for a whole team to do well and not just one character. If that was the case, then Jean would have been the only healer in this list, right? As she stacks Furina's fanfare points as quickly as possible. But we have to look for ways when choosing healers for Furina that it keeps her personal buff and damage as much high as possible, while other teammates can also help with the party-wide damage output, including the main DPS. When I think about buffers and the question comes that who would be better for your account, Furina or Shilonen, I would say both. Because both the buffers and as characters, they are helping each other to gain the best outcome for your many teams. Same goes for Bennett. There are teams where you can use all 3 of the best buffers in the game and can expect an insane outcome from it. Same goes for Kazuha too. While you are thinking about should we get Kazuha, Shilonen or Furina, get 3 of them. They will help you. One of the best Nuvilit teams uses Furina, Shilonen and Kazuha Kazuha. That's the best team for Nuvolette right now, and 3 of the buffers are in that same team. So getting as much as many support characters and buffers are always a good idea for your whole account, right? And both Shilonan and Bennett being the healers is a plus point for Furina to work with them. Some might ask Furina's capabilities in Natlan teams, then you can already see she's in the Mavika teams with Shilonan or Chaska teams even without Shilonan. Furina is kind of a universal buffer and she'll always find her place in the meta or great teams in general. And all the healers I have mentioned including Furina are C0 and works absolutely fantastic for the meta or even outside the meta. So these are all value healers and will help your account and your Furina in the long run. And the whole list is made based on my own experiences. I'm taking that and with my easy content clears. You might have different opinions, but in most cases, these are surely Furina's best healers at this moment. You gotta give me that, right? And with this being said, that's it for today, guys. Hope this video helps you and hope you guys like the video. If you do, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And you can always have a suggestion in the comment box. We can always discuss what you guys think, and whoever is your favorite healer for Furina and you think they should be in this list but I kind of skipped it, you can always tell me in the comments and I'm always open to it. And with this, that's it for today, guys. Bye. Have a nice day. Ciao, ciao. I'll see you guys in my next video.